Skin that smoke wagon and see what happens.
How's that for a slice of fried gold?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know how this machine worked.
It seems to run on some form of electricity.
And it was wrong. It was a bad call, Ripley. It was a bad call.
Some are good for fighting, others for dying.
It's Just Two Movies.
Welcome back to another episode of It's Just Two Movies. My name is Daniel King. With us today,
Jackson. I'm
good
back.
friend Jackson. He's back, baby. Back for more. Bird's not here. He's
Last I heard, he was heading north.
He's
that
pooping.
time of year.
He's pooping. You know, he's trying to poop on
Birds migrate and stuff.
cars. Yeah, he's migrating.
yeah.
He's doing a thing that where he's not here. If this is your first time tuning in, I'm not talking about an actual physical bird. Our usual co-host, his name is Birdman. We refer to him as Bird from time to time. But anyway, also, if this is your first episode and you're like, what the fuck is this and why is this guy rambling? It's just what I do. But what we do here is we watch two movies. We watch one that at least one of us thinks is a good film. We talk about it for a few minutes, and then we find another one, like another movie that's bad, that has something in common with it.
Yeah, it has some correlation to it.
Some kind of correlation between the two things. And then we, come in here and take a big shit on it. And hopefully the movie is so bad that it's good. That's not always the case. Sometimes it just turns out being absolutely awful.
It's a toss-up.
Once or twice it's turned out being okay. So we'll just see how it goes. So before we get into the movies, what we've been up to, Jackson?
Yeah, just work and studying.
That's
about all. I'm almost done with my studying stuff, so.
Yeah, well, it's kind of the thing when anybody comes on the show and I ask them what they've been up to. Nobody's been up to shit. It's like, it's
strange world out there.
Yeah, it is. It's bizarre times that we're living in. We went to the drive-in last night.
Nice.
Yeah, it was nice. We
What
watched Spiral, Book of Saw, and Wrath of Man.
Any good? Either one?
Meh.
Drive-in movies?
I had a lot of problems with both of them, but it was really nice to get out of the house and see something that wasn't a rerun.
Yeah.
So we had an absolute blast going out to the movies, but I would say neither of them were really like, I was okay with getting up to go take a piss at any point.
Right.
You know what I mean? I
You're
wasn't like, oh, I'm going to miss it. It was fine.
It's like, I'm not going to miss anything. I'll be back.
I think one of the most interesting things was during Spiral, the Book of Saw, how it just stars Chris Rock.
I didn't know that. Interesting.
I haven't seen Chris Rock star in a thing in fucking forever.
20 years easily.
So it was pretty refreshing to see him on screen. He's got some little kind of like jokey bits he does. It's certainly not a comedy, but he does some jokey bits in it that are pretty
But he's
funny.
going to have to.
Right. Yeah, he's just a funny individual. What can you do? So you picked the movie for this time, because last time we always trade off on picking the movie. This was your pick. You went with?
I went with Ex Machina.
Yeah, it's great.
And
great fucking film.
Yeah, it's one of those movies, for me, it makes me feel dumb every time I watch it. I'm like, I'm not smart enough to watch this movie. But then it's like, all right, I'm going to go back and watch it. I don't know. It's one of those movies that makes you think. And I like movies like that.
Yeah, it is a good one. I think this is my second or third viewing, and it really does have, there are some other layers to it I didn't pick up on the first time I watched it.
Yeah, for sure.
That I thought were a little more clever this time. But this is, Ex Machina is a 2014 sci-fi thriller. It's got an hour 48 runtime. It's got a 7.7 out of 10 on IMDb, 92 on Rotten Tomatoes, 78 on Metacritic. This came out April 2015. Weird. It says 2014 up here, but it says it released on April 2015.
Interesting.
Which is, anyway, it was directed by Alex Garland, produced by Andrew MacDonald and Alon Reich.
Huh.
Yeah. Yep. Stars Alicia Vikander, Oscar Isaac. I fucking love Oscar Isaac. Domhnall Gleeson and...
Is Oscar the...
Sonoya Mizuno.
Oscar the genius dude?
Oscar Isaac, yeah, the guy with the shaved head.
I didn't realize he was the same dude in Star Wars.
Yeah, he's Poe Dameron.
Yeah.
Is that his name? Yeah, he's Poe Dameron in that. He plays Apocalypse, which I actually really like his role.
Oh, interesting. He
As
does play that.
Apocalypse in X-Men Age of Apocalypse, although I'm not crazy about the movie.
He has
Age
a
of
very
Apocalypse.
malleable face thing, because I can't tell that he's been in any of those.
The guy's a fucking chameleon, man. He like if you look up all of his roles, you're like, weird, he was in that, and they'll be like, oh yeah, that is him, isn't it?
If you start to look at it,
Mm-hmm.
it's like, oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, he sure does. So could you tell our listeners, kind of in your own words, very briefly, spoiler free, what is the movie Ex Machina about?
Yeah. So, spoiler free.
Spoiler free. Just the synopsis.
Okay.
Here, like if you were to flip the DVD over and read the back of it and didn't know what it was about, and you go, I would still watch this.
Gotcha. So there's a billionaire tycoon that basically runs like a search engine.
He's Tom Google.
Yeah,
whatever.
He's working on a project for AI, and he needs someone to come in and be the second part of his Turing test with a machine and a human. And he is basically trying to get his AI to pass the Turing test in his own way.
Right. And the Turing test, for folks out there that don't know, did you say you pulled up the actual definition of it?
Oh, yeah. Let me pull it up.
Briefly, while you're getting that, the Turing test is simply a person sitting down having a conversation with a machine who cannot determine that they are speaking with a machine. That machine then passes the Turing test, which means it can pass for a cognitive person.
Yeah. So is the machine displaying consciousness, or are they just replicating information?
Right, because hypothetically, a machine could pass the Turing test and not be conscious.
Yeah. They even bring it up in the movie. It's like, are you playing chess? Or is the machine playing chess? Do they understand that they're playing chess against somebody, or are they just playing the numbers in front of them? And that's not necessarily passing the test. That's just you're playing a game.
Exactly.
And you're really good at the math.
Yep. So
I have the definition here.
Oh, yeah, please.
The Turing test is deceptively simple method of determining whether a machine can demonstrate human intelligence. If a machine can engage in a conversation with a human without being detected as a machine, it has demonstrated human intelligence.
Right. And the Turing test is named after Alan Turing. He was an English mathematician, computer scientist, logician, cryptoanalyst, philosopher, and theoretical biologist. There's a really great movie about Alan Turing called The Imitation Game.
I was going to say, what was the movie called?
Imitation Game with Benedict Cumberbatch. It's an excellent film.
It's a great movie.
But anyway, Ex Machina, budget for this was $15 million. First weekend, the box office looks like it made $36.9 million. And the first time I watched it, I was so pumped to watch it because everybody that had anything to say about it was like, it's fucking awesome, man. It's awesome.
Yeah, so this movie for me, I kept putting it off because I guess didn't have time, or just couldn't find access to the movie because I didn't watch it in theaters. It was like anyone that would talk about it, like, all right, don't tell me anything. No spoilers. I'm getting away from you. Like, stop this conversation. Right. So I like put it off for like 2 or 3 years before I could watch it. And I finally watched it, and man, it's good. Yeah,
it really is. It's just a phenomenal feat of storytelling with 4 people.
Yeah,
with 4 people: Alicia Vikander, Oscar Isaac, Domhnall Gleeson, and Sonoya Mizuno. And I mean, honestly, you could argue that Sonoya Mizuno, she doesn't have a line. She doesn't have a line in the whole movie.
Can she talk?
She dances and she whips her titty out.
Yeah,
she's got a titty out. Yeah. And it looks great, but
well,
she doesn't really have any lines. So really, you could argue this whole movie stars 3 people.
Well, 2 people and 2 machines.
Right. Well, I'm talking about the actresses, or what have you.
For 2015, it is incredible that
oh my god, it looks so fucking good.
Like, she looks so real. The machine, or like the face on her, like how she puts it on.
Oh yeah,
and just the underlying machine, and man, it looks incredible. It's like, wow, okay, if you were to put a machine into a body and make it look like a human, that's how you would do it, and that's exactly that.
This movie's got a really tense setup too.
Yeah.
So you got Domhnall Gleeson. He like wins a lottery or a contest or whatever it is. He wins a thing.
Yep.
And he's like, oh my god, I'm getting ready to go. I'm going to Oscar Isaac's compound to hang out with him for a week. This is amazing, because it would be like hanging out with like Jeff Bezos, only he's cool.
Right. He is. Well,
Yeah.
This
I
guy's
imagine
kind
Jeff
of
Bezos is boring as shit.
Yeah.
He might not be. He might be a really exciting guy, but he just seems like he would be boring. He'd be like, would you want to hang out with Zuckerberg for a week?
No, he looks dull.
Me neither.
He's like
yeah.
white plaster.
Yeah, he looks actually less convincing than the robot in this movie. So they get him in a helicopter and they're like,
Yeah, and they're
like flying him out to Jurassic Park style.
And it's like a 4-hour trip. Like,
oh yeah,
over the. He's like, oh, when do we get there? It's like, oh, you've been here for 4 hours. We've been flying over as a state. It's like, no, there's no place that is that big.
No, this guy lives on fucking East Lusorna. Yeah, it's fucking amazing. He's got this giant like fucking Fort Knox hidden house in the woods that's just like a smart home / bank vault type house.
He actually says, it's not my house. This is a research facility. But man, that research facility is very claustrophobic.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you first start to watch it, like you start to kind of feel as though you're the Caleb kid that wins the lottery.
Right.
And you're like, all right, you're trying to figure it out as the audience member along with the movie.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, what's going on here?
So Oscar Isaac sits Domhnall Gleeson down his first night. He's like, I know you're freaking out or whatever. He's like, he's like, can we just get past that?
Yep.
I know it's a big moment for you, but it's like this for me every time I try to talk to somebody. He's like, and I just want to get past that so we can just talk to each other like two different dudes.
That seems very realistic.
You be
too.
Caleb, I'll be whatever his name was.
Nathan.
Nathan. Yeah, he's like, you be Caleb, I'll be Nathan, and let's just hang out.
Yeah, it's like, don't look at me like a rich billionaire person. Just ignore that and just whatever. Stop that. I get that all the time.
So he's like, he sits him down and he gives him an NDA, and he's like, I think I need a lawyer to sign this. He's like, listen, this is not standard procedural shit. I want to show you the thing I'm working on. For me to do that, you have to sign this NDA. If you're not going to sign this NDA, then we can just hang out for a week, bond, we can get drunk as fuck, we can just hang out and be friends. And then in about a year, you're going to realize that you made the biggest mistake of your life.
But the NDA, I will say, I'm like, fuck, I ain't signing that shit. Like
right?
He said he can go into his public, private, any type of communication that he does, anything that he's verbally said, and you cannot talk about this situation, which he doesn't know what he's getting into. So it's like, you're going to record, like, and you realize this guy can record everything.
Everything.
He's like, I'll find it. If you talk about it, I'll find it.
Right.
So it's kind of I was like, damn, I don't know if I would sign that, but I guess you're there, kind of already persuaded to do it. So
yeah, and Oscar Isaac's walking this really fine line where he's coming off like a dick, but he also comes off like a really cool guy at the same time. Like, I can respect that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you're being a little bit of a dick, but I can respect where you're coming from, and it's cool that you were so upfront about it, kind of thing.
Yeah, he cuts to the point, and you could see he's playing a billionaire kind of genius that's doing his own thing, but he's still trying to like have a conversation with a regular person.
Right.
He's like, okay, let's cut the bullshit. This is what I'm here for. I'm going to sound like a dick. He does sound like a dick a lot. Yeah,
he really does. So then you get the Ava reveal. Ava being the AI robot that Oscar Isaac's made, once again played by Alicia Vikander. Again, I think we already mentioned it. CGI in this fucking top shelf, baby.
Yeah.
Looks amazing.
And I was trying to think, this came out, you said 2015 or so. And how many AI movies were prior to 2015? Well, I mean, there's a few.
I can think of 3 at least, and I don't know that the one with the kid was the best one, I thought, but it'd been a really long time since I watched them.
I'm not sure that one.
You know, the one where the kid's it's like the Sixth Sense kid, but he's a robot. He's AI. Maybe Bruce Willis is in it. I don't remember. It's been a really long time.
My memory is like trying to connect some memories that are not really there.
I think it might just be called AI. Might be the name of the movie. Or that one with Will Smith. There's a Will Smith AI robot movie also.
Yeah, Gemini Man?
I haven't seen that.
No,
that's a clone.
Oh, you're talking about iRobot.
iRobot.
Dude,
yeah.
That's a good movie.
It's like a sentient robot though, right?
Yeah, he's like, yeah, it is. It is a coming of consciousness for AI, and he distrusts AI for not good reason, but
so
anyway.
So one of my favorite scenes in this movie was where Domhnall Gleeson signs the NDA, and Oscar Isaac's like showing him around and like kind of how he put it together. He's like, even Dom Hall asks him, he's like, how did you fucking create her? And he's like, listen, I'm not saying this to insult your intelligence. I'm not going to tell you that.
Yeah.
Because we just don't have the time.
Yeah, he's like, you're really smart.
I'm not telling you that you can't understand it. I'm just telling you that that's not what you're here for, and I'm not doing that.
Yeah. And to somewhat stroke Nathan's ego, like he says, oh, you're not, what did he say? Something, he's like, Nathan says, making history, once we're done here, we're making history for man. He's like, and then he comes
he's
back
like,
with
this is the history of gods.
Yeah, and he's like, oh, I like that.
He's so quotable.
Then like the following day.
I remember when he turned to me and said, you're like a god.
Yeah, like, so he's thinking like a egomaniac type of person that's like, all right, there's going to be a book written about me someday.
Oh, he is definitely an egomaniac.
Remember when Caleb turned to me and said, oh, you're a god? He's like twisting his words around. He's like,
yeah.
I like how you said that, man.
But anyway, so he's trusting him now and he's taking around and showing him stuff. But when he takes him in that like workshop area and shows him like the brain,
yeah,
I was like, dude, that's fucking sick.
Yeah, he says he doesn't have like a hardware set for this AI. In front of him, it's
liquid.
Literally designed to be able to somewhat build itself,
learn and change. Yeah,
so it's like basically a brain.
Yeah,
it's a wet brain in front of it where electricity can go side to side real fast. That can design itself and manipulate what it needs.
Yeah, it's just a super cool scene, man. Another one that I thought was really funny. So Sonoya Mizuno, she plays another like
Asian AI
robot. Yeah, she's like the Asian descent lady, and he's like, she can't talk. She can understand. She can kind of understand you, but she can't talk. So Dom Hall Gleason walks in on her, and he's like, hey, where's Nathan? Where's Nathan? And she just starts unbuttoning her shirt, and he's like, whoa, what are you doing? No, don't do that.
Yeah,
and he's like trying to button her shirt back. Oscar Isaac comes in. He's like, I already told you, man, you're wasting your time talking to her. And then he turns on music, and she just starts cutting a rug. He's like, but you would not be wasting your time dancing with her.
That scene cracks me up, too.
They start just busting like a choreographed dance out on the floor.
It seems like so out of place, but then it's like, you know what? This dude has been living in this research facility for
years.
Who knows how long.
It looks like years. Why would he leave?
There's no reason to leave.
There's no reason for him to leave.
So why, what his version of fun is hang out with these AIs and probably screwing them a few times.
Right. Yeah. Right. And he's like, no, you could fuck her, man.
Yeah.
You could fuck her. Not only could you fuck her, you would fuck her and she would enjoy it.
Yeah. Like that's just like his little pleasure island out there.
Yeah. The robot's pussy has haptic feedback. It's just crazy, man.
Like he's like, I did put so much design into all these AIs. And
so Oscar Isaac's got Dom Hall Gleason out there to Turing test this AI, Ava. And he's like starting to get kind of suspicious of Oscar Isaac along the way because of him like talking with Ava.
Yeah. So there's a few things. There's so the Turing test for Caleb and Ava, they sit down and have like sessions where they try to get to talk and to know each other.
Yeah.
And there's something that starts to happen where the power gets cut out. Once the power goes out, all the cameras, the audio, all that goes out. So Nathan can't listen in and view what's going on during the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And Ava reveals that she's the one that is cutting the power, which kind of flips Caleb's brain. He's like, what the hell?
Well, she even tells him, she's like, he's not your friend. Don't trust him. He's manipulating you. He's lying to you.
Yeah, so he's getting manipulated on both sides too. Yeah, because she's doing the same exact thing.
So his suspicion continues to mount over these weird exchanges he has with Oscar Isaac, which the guy is a egomaniac, alcoholic genius.
Yeah.
You would be a little suspicious of him, just like the shit that comes out of his mouth. You'd be like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
It's a dick thing to do,
he's
man.
He's a very weird guy. He's just very, very strange. Not to say that he's inherently done anything wrong. He hasn't.
No.
He's actually a very stand-up guy through the entire movie. He's just cautious, which he has to be to protect his interests.
Yeah, when you look at it from his view, too, it's like he's doing exactly what he needs to do to develop a conscious AI.
Right.
But I don't think he I think towards the end of the movie, you start to realize that he's never letting any of these AIs like that have maybe consciousness. He's not letting them go.
He's made 6 or 7 of them already.
Well, and what's her name? Kyoki or something? I don't remember what else it's called.
Kyokyo, I think.
I think she was a previous version before Ava, which I think she was. I can't remember. And he just, made her his sex slave.
Yeah, pretty much.
Basically.
She's just like a sexy waitress.
Yeah, just all the time. All right, wipe your brain, your memories, and you can come do my laundry and feed me and fuck me.
Well, I believe robot comes from the Latin robotnik, which means to be a slave. So she technically is a robot. Ava is not a robot.
I didn't know that.
Because Ava has her own consciousness. She's not a slave. She's captured. She's a prisoner, but she's not a slave. Kyoko is.
Definitely.
Yeah. So Gleason, he eventually is like on the fucking brink of madness. He cannot tell what is real and what is not. So he smashes a mirror in his fucking bedroom and like fucking cuts his arm open to make sure there's blood, and he's like digging his fingers in his wound. And at first I thought that was like a dream sequence. No, it's not.
Well, as an audience member too, when you're watching that, I watched and I was like, you know what? Maybe he is an AI. I don't know at this point either.
Right.
Like,
How would you know?
You're kind of in the same mindset of Caleb, like, all right, fuck. Am I an AI?
Maybe that whole winning the contest in the helicopter was just like a cutscene in a video game.
And he's been in a fucking bunker without, where he can get locked down at any point, claustrophobia, all this coming into play. Doesn't trust anyone around him. Doesn't necessarily know exactly what he thinks he knows what the end game is, but both sides are playing him.
Right.
So he's kind of in this like mental game that he's like trying to figure out himself. And then he's starting to question his own reality and consciousness. He's like, fuck, am I an AI? What is this shit? He's digging in his arm with blood. He's like, all right, there's blood. Is there anything beyond that? So
yeah.
He's looking for bones and shit.
Looking for bone or circuitry. Yeah, man. Just the whole movie is watching Brendan Gleeson kind of have his like descent into madness and then figure out he's decided he wants to break Ava out. He's decided he thinks that Oscar Isaac is a fucking psycho lunatic. He's murdering these things that have consciousness, and this is bullshit, and it's got to stop. So then it brings you back to what they described as the chess problem. Earlier in the movie, Brendan Gleeson says to Oscar Isaac, he's like, well, think about like a chess robot. He's like, it's like testing a chess robot only by playing chess.
Right.
And he's like, well, how else would you test a chess robot? And he goes, well, it's not enough to know if it makes good moves. Does it understand what the game of chess is?
Does it understand its reality around itself?
Yeah, does it understand what it's doing? Is it conscious of the game of chess, or is it just making calculated decisions? So that's how you can kind of tell the difference there. Are they emotional, or are they emulating emotion, or are they are they actually manipulating you real time? So you flip the script. Gleason pulls I don't even know what you would call it, Tennessee shuffle. They look left, you go right kind of thing.
Yeah.
So he devises this plan to break Ava out.
Yep.
And he activates the plan, and essentially
Ava
does get out. He does get her broke out, and then he realizes that the entire time in the chess problem situation where she wasn't necessarily relaying actual emotion to him, she wasn't even really emulating emotion. She was manipulating him from the time that he walked in the door.
Yeah. So that comes back to, okay, so we brought up the chess thing. And then, so Caleb is part of the Turing test, and he thinks it's just a one-way thing where he's trying to, is she conscious? Does she have a consciousness?
Yeah.
And what Nathan's doing, he's viewing them, and he sees Ava as this, an AI that's trapped in a rat maze.
Right.
So she's in this maze. Can she get out of this maze?
Yeah, he feels empathy and sympathy for her, and he wants to get her out.
And what all does that entail to get out of this maze? She's going to have to manipulate. She's going to have to pretend that she likes Caleb. She's going to have to twist.
Oscar Isaac gave Ava one challenge before Brendan Gleeson showed up. And that challenge is, I'm never letting you go.
Right.
You have to escape. That's it.
Yeah.
You'll be here forever. Once you can escape,
you're
then
free.
my job is done.
Yeah.
I've done it. I've created the next step in evolution on Earth, and AI is a real thing.
Dude, which man, this movie brings up so many thoughts for me. I'm like, I wonder if that's already happened yet. You know, I wonder if there's already AI out in the world. I'm not worried about ghosts and stuff. I'm worried about, is there an AI walking next to me? Like, what is this? It's like, am I in the Matrix now? It's like, what's going on?
Another really unsettling part about this is when Ava starts to escape. Oscar Isaac punches Brendan Gleeson in the face and knocks him out because he's ripped, dude.
Yeah.
He's fucking working out like all the time. So he knocks him out, and then he goes in there to get Ava, and he's got like a little piece of pipe or whatever.
Yeah,
and he's like, and Ava and Kyoko, they murder him.
Yeah, which was a scene that I was like, oh, I did not expect that to be how they got out. They're gonna have to murder this guy to get out. Like her mind goes to that place. She's like, all right, well, you're in my way. I'm gonna have to kill you, I guess.
But it's such a slow stab. It is really
both of them are
make you wince
it's
real
like,
hard because it's not like it's not like
It's
like
not a stabby thing. It's like a putting your spoon into ice cream.
Yeah, it is like it's perfect. Putting a spoon into ice cream. That's about the speed of the stab.
There's like, well, he gets stabbed twice by Kyoko and then by Ava, and Ava does it right to his heart, and he's like, "Oh, what the fuck?" Like, well, he says something after like he can't believe that this is happening.
Oh yeah, and so Ava even fucks Brendan Gleeson. She leaves him in there, trapped. He is now trapped in the nicest prison on the face of the planet.
Oh, he's gonna die.
Yeah, he'll die in there eventually. He'll run out of food or water, or won't be able to get out, or.
And that's the most claustrophobic thing about it is because there's no manual switches where you can turn something on and off to actually open a door.
Yeah, and
it's all electricity.
Even Oscar Isaac tells him, he goes, you notice there's no windows in your bedroom. Sorry, I know you're a little claustrophobic or whatever, but this isn't my house. This is a research facility. Yeah. So that's what we're doing here. Where, the time doesn't matter. You don't need to be looking out the window. We're doing work here.
And the Caleb kid, he wakes up random hours of the night, like, because you don't have light.
Stares at Ava on the screen, probably stroking off.
Like the whole thing. Oh man, it's set up so perfectly. It's one of those. It's like, oh, that's why that makes sense, and that's when I start to think, this probably has happened.
So what'd you think of this? If you had to give this robot thumbs. If you had to have artificially intelligent thumbs that could vote for this movie all by themselves if they wanted to, how many of those thumbs out of 10 thumbs would you put up?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with robot thumbs. You could probably have more than 5 or more than 10 thumbs.
10's gonna be the max for measuring purposes.
9.5 robot thumbs.
All right, yeah, and that's exactly what I went with, was 9.5. I haven't seen this movie in several years, and I was so glad you brought it up because I was like, I have been dying to rewatch that. Actually,
it's such a good movie. And
it paid off, man. It's a great cast, and every time, if you have seen this movie before and you haven't seen it in a while, go back and revisit it, and instead of focusing on like Brendan Gleeson or Ava, focus on like Oscar Isaac's character. Or if you've never really thought about like what it would be like, just imagine you are the AI that's in there.
Right.
It works on different levels every time, and none of them are really being. There's nobody in this equation that is inherently bad. They're all just trying to do what they perceive is the right thing to do.
They're all literally trying to figure out their role in this research facility, or what you would call a maze.
Right.
Like they're all part of this maze, and I think. Even just talking about it right now, I think Nathan, the billionaire, he put himself in the maze on purpose.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
he's like, I got to be part of it, to make this actually work.
Weird he didn't have like a panic room.
I was panicking the whole time for most of it. I was like, this is... It is a claustrophobic movie. It's like, okay.
Yeah, it is. It's a little tight screen, but CGI looks great, cast is great, story's great, dialogue's awesome, cinematography's just a really good fun flick. 9.5 out of 10 for both of us. Yeah. So, whatever percentage that is.
It's like 19.
Which I will figure out. So 95%. And we're going to watch a different movie that's probably not good called Deadly Friend. I think it has something to do with somebody dies and the guy brings them back to life using science. Yeah, like artificial intelligence or dead zombie or Pet Sematary knockoff or...
Sounds fun.
It's a Wes Craven flick. We'll be back in like an hour and 40 minutes, I think. Enjoy a fake thing.
Are you tired of going to the grocery store?
Tired of going to dark alleys? Because you're trying to purchase human meat. Where would you go to get human meat?
Tired of all those late night trips to the morgue?
Now there's a more obtainable way to consume human meat.
Introducing Hello Flesh.
It's not raccoon meat. It's long pig. Soylent Green and twice as mean.
If you're willing to be a little adventurous in your eating habits, look no further.
VPN required.
That's good.
Everything came in the box prepared already. I didn't have anything to do except for take out the recipe card and just follow the instructions. It was easy. Human liver, already chopped. And it came with a great balsamic glaze to really take out the iron.
Body parts have never been so conveniently packaged before.
Our local butcher won't even accommodate packaging. And everything in a clean, sustainable container.
And after dinner, just go ahead and give your dog that bone. And after dinner, you bet your dog will fetch that bone. And then fuck your dog.
I gotta get another one. Hold on. Now I gotta get myself squared away all over again.
No dogs were harmed in the recording of this episode. Only people harmed. Nothing is real.
HelloFlesh.com. Use promo code 2movies to receive your first 4 corpses free. Corpse burgers. Yeah, corpse burgers. It's just burgers now. That's the whole. It's all ground.
All right. I'm sure you can cut something out of that.
Special thanks to Brad Sexton for our jams. Please check out his latest project at suns.bandcamp.com. That is sunds.bandcamp.com. Thanks to Lamplighter Productions for our artwork. Please check out more of their stuff on Instagram at lamplighter_productions_IL. First time listener, we're anywhere podcasts are found, but if you don't subscribe to any of those services, listen to the show for free on our website. It's just the number 2, movies.buzzsprout.com. That's it's just 2movies.buzzsprout.com. Want to get in touch with the show? Email us at itsjust2movies@gmail.com or find us on Twitter or Instagram at itsjust2movies. Want to support the show? Great. Leave a like, comment, or subscribe on whatever platform tickles your fancy. So anyway, back to the show. Okay. We're back. It's been however long I said it would be, but when I just a minute ago was like, we'll be back in this amount of time. Here we are.
Yeah, we are definitely back.
So we watched Deadly Friend. I put
Deadly Friend.
Yeah. This one on the Instagram, and we let people vote on the stories or whatever. This one by a landslide, and I can see why, because this is awful and it is delightfully fun.
It's very I liked it.
Yeah, can you briefly tell us what Deadly Friend is about?
Yeah, I can try. So you typically on a bad movie, I can't follow the narrative. I can't tell what's going on.
This was pretty easy.
This one, I was like, all right, I got this. So there's a super genius boy meets girl wonder kid that builds a robot. He goes to Polytech for robot stuff.
Yeah.
Somewhere in the middle. Okay, so they move to a neighborhood like the Burbs.
Yeah.
And run into a girl, and he gets attracted to the girl. The girl dies somewhere in the middle there. Then the robot dies. So the boy's like, I'm going to put the robot brains into the girl. And you get...
And voila.
Crazy Barbie girl.
That's it. It's the whole thing. And can you imagine if that goes well in a movie directed by Wes Craven? It does not.
I think I just said that whole thing out loud. I'm not sure it made sense after I was saying it. I was like,
Yeah. It's it's really schlocky and delightful. I liked it a lot. I thought it was very, very charming for being something that was real dumb.
It was super dumb, but 1980s, I could see that being
That's probably pretty cool.
a solid movie.
Yeah, it's probably pretty cool.
Like, kind of like, we don't really touch on dead artificial robots. So let's make a movie about that. And you'd be like, oh, interesting.
Yeah, it was okay. I like the robot. I like a clunky,
a clunky Roadrunner robot. Dude, that robot.
It just made hysterical noises all the time. Couldn't talk. It would just be like, beep, 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 beep.
Yeah. For the first probably 5-10 minutes of watching the robot, I was like, all right, I'm gonna figure out what it's saying. Like sometimes you think, all right, I don't know what it's saying up front, but maybe it is pointing to stuff and it says something.
Mm-hmm.
This robot just had sounds the entire time that didn't really make sense to anything. It was like, all right, what's it going for there?
Yeah. So this is a 1986 horror slasher, hour 32 runtime, 5.6 out of 10 on IMDb, 8% on Rotten Tomatoes, 44 on Metacritic. Came out October 10th, 1986. Directed by Wes Craven. It had $11 million in the budget, and it almost made money with $8.9 million in the box office.
I can't believe it. Like, I can believe it, but
Yeah, it's a weird title for it. The book it's based on is it's just called Friend. But Deadly Friend.
Yeah, it's not very specific. Friend
or Friend if it's the same story.
Like, that's a terrible name for like a book.
Deadly Friend.
Or just Friend. Like, here's Friend.
Yeah, because he was friend zoned.
So you don't know what it's going for.
I guess
it's so vague.
It is a really weird, like, what's the relationship between like the main character guy and the girl? It seems like a weird dynamic because they don't really tell you if like 4 months pass.
I think they kind of start because she's coming over to his house for like a couple times. They had dinner. So I think they're implied they were dating.
Yeah,
kind of.
So this stars Christy Swanson, Matthew. Oh, well, I'll get this. No, I won't. Labuteau.
Labuteau.
The breathtaking Anne Ramsey, Michael Sherritt, and Tomey, and Bruce Joel Rubin. Also Richard Marcus. Richard Marcus played the girl's dad.
Okay, yeah.
And he was a fun role. You know what I mean? He's did some great facial expressions out of that guy.
Great facial expressions. Great.
Super sweaty.
He's super sweaty the entire time. He was sweating.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he was sweating a little more sometimes than others. You could tell, but yeah.
Yeah. So the BB robot, it sounds
my favorite
like
robot. I think it might be my favorite new robot.
Yeah, it's like a cross between Ed 209 and a gremlin from Gremlins. It's somewhere in there.
So yeah, the robot, man, he made some sounds. Just the entire first half of the movie, the sounds of the robot movie made the movie for me.
Yeah,
I was trying to get used to it. It's like
beep,
beep, beep, beep, beep.
It's crazy. It was really fun with the sound effects for that. None of this is scary.
Well,
it is kind of
slashery. There was one scene that had the new nightmare feel of Freddy coming through the.
Oh yeah.
I wonder if he had a little inspiration from this movie into New Nightmare because he had two scenes where they're sleeping in bed.
Yeah,
and they're both dreaming. I
don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Or did he just like, I'm too tired to try to something new?
Could be.
But yeah, he had two scenes where like they both had crazy dreams of her dad like getting stabbed in one of them.
Oh yeah.
And he started laughing about it.
That was pretty crazy.
Like,
to be fair, that was pretty.
At
pretty
that point in
creepy.
the movie, I didn't know what was going on, or I was like, this is kind of going somewhere. I'm kind of hooked in a little bit.
Yeah.
Kind of, yeah.
I think that was the best that ever got. It was that bit right up top there.
Like, all right, well, that's the top. That's the top of the movie.
Yeah, and that's I think that's right, man. Let's talk about the kills and the thing, okay? So nerd kid, he's got the hots for hot girl.
Yep.
And hot girl's dad hits her on occasion, and he hits her, and she falls down a flight of stairs, and she's like in a coma. She's got like bleeding on the brain.
Yeah. I don't know. Her fall doesn't seem that hard, but she's dead basically.
Yeah, so they got her on life support. They're going to pull the plug in 23 hours for some reason.
So they got 23 hours. We're pulling the plug. She's brain dead.
Yeah. No, they moved it back an hour. We're gonna keep them on for 24 hours, and then we're just gonna.
Yeah, like the following day, they're like, actually, it's not at 12 anymore. It's 11.
The power bill's kind of high, so we're gonna cut that a day short. Yeah. So anyway, the nerdy kid and his friend, they sneak into the hospital, steal the body, take it to his house, and he implants his exploded robot.
Yeah. We didn't say how the robot exploded.
Yeah, we'll come back.
Okay.
To it. Puts a chip in her brain, and it's alive.
Yep. She comes back with heavy blue eyeshadow.
Yeah, a lot of it. Look corpsey,
And she has
I guess.
some Star Trek hands.
She is. She's doing like
kind of robot
like claws.
fingers.
Robot.
Yeah, the claw.
Yeah, I don't know. It was a very bizarre. So the robot gets blown up because there's a mean lady that lives on the street. And it's what's her name? Anne.
She's the Goonies old gal.
Anne Ramsey, and she's the mean old lady, like the paper boy who's his friend won't deliver the paper. She's got a chain on the fence.
She has a bolt lock on her fence, not on like anything, but she's like bolted herself into her house.
Yeah. So it's Halloween, and these kids are fucking tripping because they use that robot. They use that robot to solve her combination lock, which wouldn't have.
Yeah, he says like, "Oh, there's only 64,000 combinations, and it's a full 60 click lock." And it's like, "All right, there's a lot of combinations in there."
So, yeah, that's what they got going on there. So they break in. And the robot goes rogue. They're like they ring the doorbell, and the whole alarm goes off.
Yeah, I don't understand why BB, our robot, like turned the corner and went like he was like seeing red, but really he was really seeing red. They turned his eyes red.
Oh yeah.
And like, he's like, I don't know what his goal. He was a little violent before, like your first scene with him.
He strangles a man.
Yeah. A guy breaks into a car and he's like, "Oh, you're cute." And there's BB in the back, and it's just a robot. And BB tries to kill him, choking him the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah, sure does.
So he had a little violent tendency from the very get.
Yeah, it's a weird way to start a movie, man. It's a weird way to start a movie. I do like the pacing of it though. Like it's stretched out about right. It felt comfortable. None of it I felt was like, oh my god, come on.
I kind of wanted a little more at the end. I was like, where are we going with the story? And then it's like, this is where we ended up.
I think probably the female lead that played the girl. I don't have her name in front of me.
Yeah, the blonde.
The blonde gal, Christy Swanson. So Christy Swanson, I think it was probably directorial. He's like, no, more like a robot. And maybe she was doing it sarcastically, and then they're like, perfect.
Yeah.
Just keep doing that. And she's like, fuck.
Oh, man. And to kind of like touch back on like our first movie was Ex Machina. So AI, implanting AI into deadly friend.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that story that they're trying to tell has come a long way about AI in general, from being this very terrifying thing, which it kind of is, but back in the 80s, and like Terminator 2, it's kind of in a innocent sense, I guess.
The original Terminator is a horror movie.
Yeah,
you know that,
and it's not the original Terminator, right?
The OG, like the Terminator.
Yeah.
Just Terminator with Arnie. Yeah, so it's a horror movie.
Isn't it like he a different version in the first one, or no?
Fuck, I don't know, man. We're not talking about Terminator.
I don't know where I was going.
I do like the Terminator movies, but I don't. They don't like blow my fucking socks off.
But
I just think it's
like
a fun
how
idea.
in the 80s, this is their feel of how do we tell this story of artificial intelligence, and then it's like, it's taking over the world, a Skynet and T2, or you get a little killer robot called BB.
Or just one that's even a
BB-8 that hates people,
or even the modern day equivalent of make it an attractive young woman that's just sentient.
Yeah, terrifying.
This did have some parts in it I really liked. I really liked after she gets the transplant and she's robot girl.
Robot.
When she smashes that lady's face with a basketball.
Yeah, that was unexpected.
Yeah,
well,
yeah, it was.
We kind of expected her to kill her.
Yeah, but not to explode her
But
face with the basketball.
You don't. It's like in one of those bad movies. Like, all right, how is this person going to die? We know this person's going to die. Like, or in a scary movie, it's like, what kind of stupid way are they going to die? And so you have you have this scene where blonde chick and old Goonies gal are facing off, and the blonde chick throws a basketball at her head. You think you just bounce it off or something.
No, it would. but it just explodes.
No, it just takes her head completely off.
Yeah.
There's no more head. It was ready to go.
Just burst like a fucking grape.
Yeah, so the cinematics there was pretty
shocking. I wouldn't say the practical effects are great by any stretch of the imagination, but they are fun.
They're fun.
Yeah.
It was a fun movie.
Like the lady's exploding head was cool. At the end, it's revealed that the girl is dead and she's like peeling off her skin and she has a robot skull underneath now.
Oh, yeah. I didn't know what they were doing there. My brain shut off at that point. I was like...
her having the computer chip in her brain slowly turned her into
a robot with actual metal.
Actual robot.
Like her body turned into metal.
Mm-hmm.
That's how that transformation happens.
Yeah. It was also a fun scene. I'm like, well, this didn't look great, but clearly everybody was having a good time.
So the highlight of this movie for me was, okay, we watched the first part of the movie where you have the robot, and it's kind of cool robot, and it makes all these weird noises.
Oh, I like the robot.
Beep, beep, and it'll just keep going through there and making noises. And then the second part of the movie is that robot's brain is implanted to this dead girl,
right?
Who's not talking. So I kept wanting to hear this blonde chick who couldn't talk now. I just wanted to hear her make robot sounds. Like the second half of the movie, that's all I was waiting on. I was like, please make a robot sound from the beginning.
And then she kind of did, but not the ones I wanted. She just said beep beep.
But she did at the very end. They just went for it. She's saying and all kind of like right.
Yeah,
like they just went for it. Like just do the weird one. Do the weird
one. They did too, man.
Beep, beep, right in your face.
That is hysterical. I had a lot of fun watching this, man. This was a really good time for me. If you could make a couple of changes to this and try to make it profitable or to remake it in the present day, what like no more than 5 things would you change? I can tell you what I would do. I got a couple. I would give the robot a touch up.
Yeah.
Just make him a little sleeker. I liked it though. It was charming. It was a charming talking box.
It was an E.T. gremlin robot.
Yeah, he didn't look bad.
No, I like the robot for, especially for the 80s.
Oh, hell yeah.
That works.
He was cool. I give him a little touch up as far as appearances go. I need a different female lead.
The mom that they drugged?
No, not the mom that they drugged. I forgot they roofied her. They roofied her mom so they could go steal a corpse. Wow.
That is a scene in the movie you just described.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. No, the girl. I would recast I'd recast the girl.
She's pretty dull.
I want to do that. That needs to be all different. Like her dynamic in it instead of just being
with her dad or
a girl who moves like a robot. And
once she's a
talk.
Robot. Yeah, once she's a robot, she's trying to act like a robot. It's like, don't do that. It's like, especially like that wouldn't make sense. But they're like, we got to get across that you're a robot and not a dead girl.
Right, but kind of both.
But we're not sure how to do that. So
yeah,
just play a dead person or a robot dead person.
Screen test some other shit. See what comes off less weird.
It was super weird. She had really dark blue eyeshadow, and she would like go in and out of the vision of the robot.
Yeah,
like she was seeing through human lenses at one point, and then it's just seeing through robot lenses. Mm-hmm. That was super weird.
Yeah, it was very strange. So yeah, there are a couple of mechanics there that you could touch that up and make that a little more interesting. I don't know, man. That's really my main beef with the whole movie is how she is being. She is not a robot mind in a human being, because she's
I don't
like
know how else you
she's
could
like a
play
human
it.
being that thinks she's a robot. So she moves like a robot and doesn't talk, and like
if I'm in the
dance,
1980s, it's like
the dance, the robot.
Exactly. She's
doing that walking
with Star Trek fingers from Spock.
Yeah, with Spock fingers, like Nanu style. I don't know. It's just it is strange.
Yeah, the way she acted that part was bad. Even before she became a dead robot, she was a little awkward as a person, as an actor. I didn't really believe her.
Yeah.
Like, because she was bleeding some days when she would come over to his house. She's like, I got hit. I'm like, I'm not sure you got hit or you're lying. Like, because she just was like, I have a nosebleed.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I thought she was okay.
She's okay.
She was okay in that, but the robot thing was not kind of taking me out of it. Like, it was funny for a couple minutes. And then I was like, "Oh, they're still doing this, huh?"
Oh, they did. They kept doing it.
They kept doing it a lot.
Then they pushed it to the
weirder.
the sounds, the beep beep.
Yeah, and that I was back on board with that.
Back on board.
We were saying the whole time, we're like, man, if she would just do the beeps, it'd be way funnier.
It'd be way funnier.
Yeah.
We missed out on some like 20 minutes of good laughter because she wasn't beep beating.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What would you do? Anything else about this?
I mean, there's a lot to like about the movie. It had this Burbs feel. You've seen the Burbs?
Yeah, right.
With Tom Hanks.
Burbs with Johnny Number 5. What was that? Was it Short Circuit? The Burbs meets Short Circuit.
So they had that feel, and then I had a Wes Craven feel for sure.
Yeah, it also did. Yeah,
it's like you're not sure where you're. So like the first part of the movie, I'm kind of hooked. I'm like, where's this going? I'm kind of curious where they're going with this. Is this robot going to turn into something? No, the robot gets shot 3 times by a shotgun. It's like, that's it. It's a wrap.
How many people did she murder? Was it just 2?
The dead robot girl?
Yeah, she murdered the dad, and then she murdered the mean old lady.
The Goonies gal.
And then, was that it?
I think it's it. And she got caught in a rundown at the end. She couldn't make it out.
Oh, yeah. She threw that dude 30 feet by his testicles.
Oh yeah, we had the Lost Boys in there.
Oh,
they came to pick on old boy.
Yeah, the fucking when he gets hassled by the Rowdy Piper gang. Yeah. They're all wearing the fantastic sunglasses with the Rowdy Piper mullet.
Some big old shiny earrings.
Big old long shiny earring, like the dangly one. I don't know.
A lightning bolt earring, like a real long one.
Hell yeah! They're putting off a real Dairy Maine kind of vibe to them. Well, that's about all the notes I've got for it. Were there any other changes that you would like? Anybody that you'd be like, I would recast that person for sure. I don't know who I'd get to play the girl though.
The girl, and she's such a big part of the movie. Like, you look through it, it's like she's the nice neighbor girl, and then she turns into the main kind of. She's a dead robot thing, being consciousness, the dead girl, kind of Weekend at Bernie's with consciousness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Kinda, right?
Yeah, sort of. Yeah, because she's just kind of like stumbling all over the place. And...
yeah, it's just kind of like, I don't know how to act in this human body. I'm gonna robot this.
Mm-hmm. Weekend at Bernie's. My God.
This, if you want to go back and watch a movie just to have fun and with the 80s genre, and you want to have a good laugh, this movie is good. In that
it really
sense.
is.
It's like, go watch it to have a fun time.
Well, so let's go ahead and rate it then. Do you want to? What would you give it as a regular movie? Because I will say,
a regular one.
It is not. It's not a like the story is not super compelling. It just feels like a cookie cutter 80s.
So I'm gonna judge mine off of what would I judge that era movie like The Burbs or like Top Gun.
Yeah,
or it's all kind of the same era, same. So I can't knock it for some things. I'm gonna give it a 5.
You can go 5. Okay.
I wanted to go a little lower, but 5. I'll go 5.
Yeah, and I think I'm gonna be right down there with you. I'm gonna give it a 6. I liked some of the casting. A lot of it I wasn't crazy about.
I watched the whole movie with that, and I followed it. So that's a rare thing for me and you to watch. Well, you always follow the narrative. I can't on some of these bad movies. I'm like, I don't know where this is going.
This one was pretty all right. It did keep me interested.
I was interested. First part of that, I was interested in where in the hell are you going with this movie and thought process. The second part of the movie, I was interested in seeing, is this girl going to make robot sounds? Like, that's all I'm interested in at this point.
Yeah.
And they paid that off.
Give me those beep
They
boops,
paid that
baby.
off. Like, in the final scenes, beep, beep, out of this girl.
It is, it is. They know when to reach out and just, like, tickle you a little bit and go, hee.
Yeah, so there's some good, like, parts to the movie that kept me engaged the whole time.
Oh, yeah. So what would you give it as a bad movie, though? Like, on the bad movie scale where... We're saying you give it more thumbs
For
more that
enjoyable?
it made you laugh for how bad it is.
This one always confuses me. Okay, hold on.
I know it's a confusing one. That's what we. So it really doesn't matter what you say.
No, it does, because I want to get it right. So there's more thumbs if a bad movie's bad and
Like,
enjoyable.
If I wanted to watch a good movie,
What would be a perfect 10 on the bad scale?
well, I don't
Do you
know.
have
That's
one yet?
what we're trying to figure it out. You know what I mean? We've had some that were pretty close.
So this as a bad movie, it's not terrible. It's not a terrible movie. It has a plot.
It's
enjoyable to kind of watch.
My favorite things about it are the pacing.
Pacing was great.
Pacing was great.
Easy.
And it kept me interested.
Easy breezy straight through the entire movie.
Easy breezy, beautiful. It's just two movies.
Weekend at Bernie's.
Yeah.
Wes Craven directed Weekend at Bernie's. Well, not this one, but this one. It was enjoyable that you could go back and kind of like have all the 80s tropes within that movie. Like, it just felt 80. Well, felt like the heart of the 80s.
Yeah.
Like, because you got the normal side of the 80s genre, and then you have the Wes Craven part brought together. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh yeah, this is completely 80s right here.
Yeah.
So in a sense, I think, on a bad movie scale, let me give it.
Like, if you wanted to watch a good movie, you wouldn't be like, oh man, let's go watch Deadly Friend. You'd be like, I'm in the mood to watch like an Ex Machina.
Yeah.
So if Ex Machina is a 9.5,
okay,
and Deadly Friend is a 5 as a
is
regular movie,
somewhat of a rewatchable factor in there.
Yeah,
I'm gonna give it a 7.5.
7.5. Okay,
I don't know. I might be low on that, but I'm thinking right in that range.
Man, I think I'm gonna give it a 9.5.
Okay, I missed out. I missed it.
No, that's okay. I had an exuberant amount of fun watching this.
I had fun too. Okay, I rated it low.
The things that I liked about it weren't. I was like, "Ooh, that's clever," or "Oh, that's really smart," or "Oh, that's
still dumb."
That's an artistic hat tip to whatever. Oh, wow, that's powerful writing.
Right.
None of that is what made me like it. It was just like, it's fucking like when the guy falls off the bike at the beginning.
Yeah, at the beginning, it was it's like,
He
okay,
hits the
you
curb
could
with his bike and
redo that scene.
Yeah.
Probably 100 times, you'd be okay.
Yeah.
And get it right. They're like, let's do the worst one. It's like, that didn't look like you fell on purpose.
Yeah. Oh man. But that kind of comedy and stuff in it, I like that a lot.
And they had some big characters within the movie. Like, you can kind of follow the kid. It's supposed to be a genius.
Yeah.
You can follow the girl. You can follow her dad, who's a big character, like just kind of a big character, or he still is kind of the show when he's on the scene. Everybody's
got their own little sub arcs.
And then who else do we have in there? The mom and the neighbor, the Goonies gal. I was trying to think of. Like, she steals the scene when she's in there. So it's like, people acted pretty well.
Yeah. I mean, I thought most of it was actually pretty enjoyable. As a regular movie, though, I just like it's better than bad.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I was like, yes, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and that's why I always say like our grading scheme is fucking super confusing to understand, but it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
So
it's just two movies.
I think that's yes. I think that's all I've got for Deadly Friend. I think I'm good on that. I had a lot of fun with that.
I had a lot of fun.
Would recommend watching it.
If you want to hear some cool robot sounds?
We rented it on Prime. If you want to watch something that's so bad it's funny, it's
it's good for that.
$1.98 or whatever it was. I don't know. What else you been up to, man? Have you like watched or read or listened to anything recently that you thought was like, oh, I bet other people would like this?
Man, lately haven't really had the extra time to go track something down new. So I don't have anything now.
Yeah.
And what about you? You didn't see anything lately?
I started watching a little bit of True Detective.
Ooh,
and I'm liking that.
Season 1?
Yeah.
We were talking about HBO shows earlier.
Oh yeah, we were.
That's an HBO one. Yeah.
Yeah, so I started watching that. I am liking it so far, but I just haven't watched much of it.
Season 1 solid.
Yeah, and then we went to the drive-in yesterday, and I watched those 2 movies I said earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just haven't had since me and you last had the podcast. I haven't had time to outside of my daily stuff to watch. So.
How do we close it?
Hon, we were going with Ex Machina, hon. Where do we start with this?
Oh, yeah. You said you had some more stuff you wanted to talk about Ex Machina?
Yeah, Ex Machina. Oh, there was a scene in there that really kind of stuck out for how AI consciousness would actually be interpreted in passing the Turing test. He described a story of this thing that was brought up in black and gray or black and white. And all it's ever seen was black and white.
Mary in the white room, Mary in the black and white room.
Yes, yeah, that. So something like that. So he describes that, and he's like, and then when the Mary person that was grown up through black and white, that's all she could ever see. They opened a door, and she went out into the world and saw all these other colors. It's like, how do you explain how the sight of a color makes you feel?
Right.
It's like, that's consciousness.
Mary, when she opened her eyes outside, she learned something
that she could see something
she didn't know about color.
Yeah, that she saw and could make her feel something about it. So that scene always stuck out on Ex Machina for me. I was like, what door could we open that makes us a little more conscious about things? Like, whoa. I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good thought experiment.
But at the end of the movie, that quote that I was talking about pays off because she walks out into this cross section and starts to look around and see all these colors, and it's like, oh, I feel something off of viewing this color. Yeah, because I've never seen this before. She's the thought experiment at work. Yeah, because the deal with Mary in the black and white room is before she ever goes out of the black and white room, she knows everything there is to know about color. Right. Yeah, everything. She egotistically knows where her, I am an expert at an expert level of this. And then she opens the door. It's like, oh, I'm so stupid. I'm new. Because you're beginning again once you open that door. Yeah, that's true. Because you're seeing all this different perspective of something you thought you mastered. Yeah, cool stuff, man. Well, so I think that settles it. I mean, Ex Machina was definitely better than Deadly Friend, but I would recommend. I mean, I would recommend this as a fun watch. It's a fun watch, for sure. It's you want to have your '80s vibe kind of feel back and not have to watch it seriously. This is your jam. Yeah, it's great. It's a good one. But if you want to reach out to the show, write us at it's just 2movies@gmail.com. It's just 2movies@gmail.com. It's just 2movies on Instagram and Twitter. Yeah, either any of those. Yeah, it's just 2movies. Hashtag. Yeah, that's all it is. Hashtag it IJ2M. Hashtag.
You guys aren't going to start sucking each other's dicks, are you?
Let's call that gold talk! We're a one-eyed Batman!
Can I make a suggestion that doesn't involve violence? Or is this the wrong crowd?
Maybe we should call in a bomb threat to Houston. I think it's free beer night at the Astrodome.
The Jedi, Bob. We don't fight with guns, we fight with our mind.
Cousin businesses are booming.
That is one big pile of shit.
Jog on.
It's Just Two Movies is a production of Blue Cheese and Bacon Studios and can be found wherever you get your podcasts.
Beep. 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 Beep.